A partial verdict reached in the Shawn Diddy Combs trial.
This violence captured on cameras at a Los Angeles hotel ensued.
What just happened inside that New York courtroom left seasoned legal experts, reporters, and even veteran jurors stunned. We're talking sealed footage, secret payments, dismissed jurors, a furious judge accusing lawyers of lying, and that's just scratching the surface. For months, we've heard whispers, allegations about private parties, secret recordings, and hush money. But now, the whispers are echoing through the halls of a federal courthouse. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is a federal trafficking and racketeering trial against one of the most powerful figures in music, Shawn Diddy Combs.
Involving coercion, violence, sex trafficking, and more.
And week 6, it may have changed everything. We've combed through the courtroom transcripts, exclusive reports, and confirmed legal filings to bring you the 6 biggest revelations that unfolded, many of which the world is only beginning to understand. From jury tampering accusations to shocking video evidence finally shown, these moments didn't just move the trial forward, they may determine how it ends. So grab your seat, because what you're about to hear isn't just shocking, it's the kind of story that could reshape a legacy. Let's get into it. On, juror number 6 dismissed, but why really? It started with a simple question: where do you live? But the answer, innocent as it may have seemed, sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Juror number 6, a 41-year-old black man, had originally told the court he lived in the Bronx. But weeks later, he casually mentioned to a court staffer that he had recently moved to New Jersey. That small detail disqualified him from serving on a Manhattan jury and led to his immediate dismissal. But was it really about his address, or something deeper? Diddy's legal team didn't buy the explanation. They fired back with a 14-page formal objection, claiming there was no valid basis for removing him. Even more controversially, they accused prosecutors of intentionally trying to manipulate the racial makeup of the jury.
Prosecutors are showing the jury those videos along with travel records, hotel invoices, and money transfers.
According to their statement, removing a black juror and replacing him with a white one, specifically a 57-year-old white architect from Westchester, altered the diversity of the panel in a way that could prejudice the outcome of the trial. They argued it wasn't just unfair, it was strategic. But Judge Aaron Subramanian didn't waver. He emphasized that race could not and would not be a factor in his decision. His concern, he said, was the juror's candor, a legal term for honesty and transparency. Serious concerns about the juror's candor, the judge stated, make it inappropriate for him to continue. Still, some in the legal community and across social media have asked, was this really about candor? Or was this the first visible crack in what's becoming one of the most intensely scrutinized juries in celebrity trial history? The removal changed the entire jury dynamic. It made the panel older, less diverse, and possibly more conservative in perspective. And with that one move, both sides knew the balance of the trial had just shifted. But that was just the beginning, because what the jury saw next would leave them, and everyone else in the courtroom, speechless. 2. The Freakoff tapes are real and worse than imagined. For months, the internet buzzed with one disturbing word. Freakoffs. Rumors swirled. Were they real? Were there videos? Was Cassie Ventura really involved? Now we have answers. In a moment that many courtroom observers described as tense and even haunting, the jury in Diddy's federal trial was shown the actual footage. Unedited, graphic, and for the first time ever, real. Jurors wore headphones, the gallery was locked out, but that didn't stop faint sounds from leaking into the room. The soft beat of music, moaning, whispers. For 10 long minutes, the jury watched explicit video clips from what prosecutors have long referred to as the infamous Freakoff parties. The videos allegedly showed Cassie with male escorts, engaged in disturbing graphic acts. Prosecutors claim these were not consensual parties, but carefully orchestrated and manipulated encounters, with travel and hotel records to prove it. And those records, they weren't vague. They showed Cassie being flown across the country, sometimes multiple times in one week. Each trip was meticulously documented. Hotel receipts, flight itineraries, messages confirming bookings, even credit card statements linking the expenses directly to Diddy's company. In one particularly damning instance, jurors were shown evidence of a $46,000 damage charge from a single hotel stay. Prosecutors allege the room was trashed during a Freakoff-style gathering, paid in full by one of Diddy's business accounts. But it gets even more disturbing. Text messages from 2013 revealed a conversation where Cassie asked Diddy if he recorded a specific encounter on his phone. It's unclear from the message if this was done with her consent, or if she even knew it was happening at the time. That line alone raised eyebrows across the courtroom.
Confronting her with dozens of her own messages, many explicit.
And when jurors finally saw the moving images, rather than just stills or transcripts, the reaction was chilling. One juror reportedly made a face of visible disgust. Another removed his headphones, visibly shaken. The entire courtroom fell into a stunned silence, with even seasoned reporters looking pale. Legal analysts are calling this moment the prosecution's nuclear evidence, because it wasn't hearsay, it wasn't rumor. It was visual proof, presented directly to the jury. And if even one juror believes what they saw was coerced or manipulated, that could spell the end for Diddy's defense. But the next bombshell may be even more damning, because it involves a hotel fight, missing security footage, and a $100,000 payout that has everyone asking, what exactly was Diddy trying to hide? 3. $46,000 in hotel damages? You'd expect a luxury hotel bill from a music mogul to be high, but $46,000 in damages? That's not just luxury, that's chaos. Prosecutors unveiled detailed hotel records showing a 2012 stay during which one of Diddy's suites was left in shambles. Furniture broken, walls damaged, deep cleaning required. The total cost? Over $46,000, billed directly to Diddy's company. But this wasn't just reckless behavior. Prosecutors allege the destruction followed another so-called Freakoff, one of many events now central to the trial. The receipts didn't stand alone. Accompanying this were text messages, flight logs, and hotel correspondence showing Cassie being flown in, male escorts being scheduled, and rooms being booked in her name, all paid for with Diddy's corporate card. Each expense, each detail paints a bigger picture. That these weren't spontaneous hotel parties. They were planned, facilitated, and allegedly exploited. And when you follow the paper trail, it doesn't just end with broken lamps and stained furniture. It leads straight into potential racketeering, trafficking, and intentional concealment, the very foundation of the prosecution's case. But the story takes an even darker turn with what happened in 2016, when a hotel altercation spiraled into something even more troubling. 4. The Intercontinental incident. Black eye, fat lip, 100K cover-up. March 2016, the Intercontinental Hotel. What happened here could become the centerpiece of this entire trial. Cassie Ventura, in messages now read aloud to jurors, described waking up bruised, with a black eye and a fat lip. She texted Diddy, "You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you have done." In another message, she wrote plainly, "You treat me like Ike Turner." But what shocked everyone most was what came next. According to prosecutors, Diddy allegedly paid $100,000 to a former hotel security guard to erase the surveillance footage of that night. Yes, you heard that right. Eddie Garcia, the former Intercontinental security staffer,
Intercontinental Hotel, there you see Mr. Garcia,
previously testified that Diddy approached him, offered the money, and insisted that no one else could see the tape. And here's the thing, the footage, gone, completely wiped.
This violence captured on cameras at a Los Angeles hotel ensued.
Prosecutors are using this to build their racketeering case, arguing that it shows an intentional effort to cover up violence and control the narrative by any means necessary. One message from Diddy to Cassie at the time, "I'm going to be arrested." She replied, "Stay away." Add to that Cassie's desperate text to Diddy's former chief of staff, "Help me." It's no longer just about videos or hotel receipts. It's about fear, power, and a calculated effort to silence someone trying to escape. But as the courtroom tried to digest all this, chaos erupted in a totally unexpected way. 5. Courtroom chaos. Judge calls out. Lawyers issues gag threat. In the middle of the week, tensions inside the courtroom exploded. Judge R.N. Subramanian, who had kept a composed demeanor throughout most of the trial, suddenly snapped. He accused both the prosecution and defense teams of potentially leaking confidential information to the media, specifically a sealed detail about another juror that surfaced in an online article. "Someone is lying," he said bluntly. That statement rocked the room. He reminded everyone, lawyers, prosecutors, the government, and even Diddy himself, that a gag order was in place. No one was allowed to speak about sealed proceedings. And yet, something had slipped. The judge threatened civil and criminal contempt charges, stating that if he found out who was responsible, he would not only sanction them, but publish an official judicial opinion that could end their legal careers. That's the level of intensity this trial has reached. And it's clear, whatever happens in that courtroom doesn't always stay there. But just when things seemed to be reaching a boiling point, something else happened. Something no one could control. 6. Trial delay over sick juror, but momentum builds. On June 19th, the trial came to a screeching halt. Not because of evidence, not because of objections, but because a juror got sick on their way to court. According to Judge Subramanian, the juror began experiencing vertigo symptoms and couldn't physically make it to the courthouse. His partner called the court, and proceedings were postponed for the day. Since this individual was a primary juror, not an alternate, the trial couldn't legally proceed without him. The good news: they were reportedly ahead of schedule, a rare thing in high-profile trials, so a one-day delay didn't derail the timeline. But what it did do was remind everyone how fragile this process is. One absence, one error, one leak, any of it could collapse months of legal work. Still, the prosecution charged forward. They're expected to rest their case as early as Monday, June 22nd, with their final witness, Brendan Paul, Diddy's former assistant, being forced to testify under immunity after initially pleading the Fifth. And as the defense prepares to present its own witnesses, the most anticipated moment is already decided. Diddy will not take the stand. What happens? Next could end Diddy's career forever. 6 weeks, dozens of witnesses, explosive videos, accusations of violence, cover-ups, and manipulation. And yet, it's still not over. Diddy's defense team is preparing for an intense few days, planning to bring in their own experts, particularly to challenge testimony around sexual trauma. Their goal? Discredit the narrative that Cassie and others were victims of abuse. But no matter what side you're on, the truth is unavoidable. This trial has already changed the way we see one of music's most iconic figures. And if the jury believes even a fraction of what they've seen and heard, Shawn Diddy Combs could be facing life behind bars. What do you think? Was the juror's removal justified? Did the Freakoff videos seal Diddy's fate? Or do you think the defense still has a chance to turn this around? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Subscribe for more updates as this historic trial races toward its final verdict. And if you found this breakdown helpful, give us a like. It helps us reach more viewers like you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.